Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Tucci Koçoğlu-Hobden, also known as Tucci, and I'm founder of Heart and Purpose and host of Light Conversations. But first and foremost, I am a student here on Earth School. So if this is the first time that you are seeing me or watching one of my videos, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you for your presence. I'm grateful for you all for being here. So today I just wanted to share something something quite personal. And if you have ever felt resistance to being seen, to sharing your truth wider than your inner circle, or if visibility feels like vulnerability, then this message is for you. So I have been feeling recently like deep resistance. And it's not resistance to showing up, but to being fully seen. And at first I judged it. You know, is it perfectionism? I'm a Virgo. Perfectionism is one of my traits. Is it, am I tired or is there something deeper? So, and it happened to happen, this as well, we're going through quite a big period of change this year. I say quite, huge changes. So as I was reflecting on these questions to myself, the answer came, and that was resistance is a messenger and not a block. So that then was like, okay, that's interesting. Let's speak into this a little bit more. And what I was feeling into was these echoes of, whether it's because I am, and we all are collectively, are expanding in our consciousness. And, what am I feeling an echo from the past, from my past? And, almost like these threads that are, pulling a thread, and it's kind of like getting to the next layer of it. I look at healing as, as spirals. Healing isn't linear. I believe we go through spirals of healing. You kind of go spiral, down, and then we kind of go out again. And especially during this full moon, which was in Sagittarius, I have really been feeling that expansion. And what I was sort of seeing was, as we expand, or as I'm expanding, as I'm growing, sometimes it feels like, there's I can see this bird cage, and the door of the bird cage is open, but sometimes we're sort of like in the bird, we don't know what's out there, and we kind of feel safe in where we are. So that part of that, feeling part of that weight of like, am I still in the bird cage? What, I see the doors open. Why am I not getting out? And whilst, having these thoughts and these judgments towards myself, I remembered a story I had heard about a year ago from Teal Swan, who shared a beautiful story about her deep irrational fear of whales. And she traced it back to ancestral memory because her lineage was involved in whaling back in the day. And so she had traced back, and then that really suddenly resonated with me. It's like, okay, so what if this resistance that I am feeling is not mine? And what if I am carrying the echoes of the women silenced, the forgotten mystics, and the voices that were suppressed or completely erased? I also know that we carry 32,766 ancestors in our DNA. And this is science, right? 14 generations in our DNA. That's as far back as science can track. It could be more, right? And if we are, if we are holding the memory of those ancestors in our DNA. I believe that many of us here now are here to transmute what couldn't be spoken or shared before. So if this resonates with you, maybe you too are remembering. And if this brings up any emotions within you, maybe some tears or even resistance, are you also remembering? Now, I was then drawn to look at my birth chart again. Astrology is my first love. I began learning astrology when I was about 11. And I used to have this book where I would go around to everyone with my book and ask them for their date of birth, time of birth. And I would have to work out the longitude and latitude and work out people's sun rising signs or ascendants and moon signs. And I just loved that was my introduction. And again, looking back at that, that was me remembering. I began reading tarot at 12 or 13. Again, remembrance. And whilst I put those away when I was in my early 20s, and that's another story, so I'm not going to go into that. But going back to being drawn to my 12th house in my birth chart, I was like, right, what's going on in my 12th chart? The realm of the unseen, the unconscious, the karmic, the parts of ourself that we repress. I knew there was Black Moon Lilith activity and Chiron. So I was like, right, okay, I need to really look into this properly again and remember Black Moon Lilith Chiron in Taurus. What does this mean? And I thought, okay, I love working with Black Moon Lilith. Those of you who aren't familiar, just a little recap around her. She was the first woman equal to Adam. She and Adam came of the earth together. And that's like, when I talk about Adam, it's the Adam and Eve story, but it was the Adam and Lilith story originally. The Canaanites and the Israelites worshipped the goddess. And then patriarchy came and she was removed. Lilith was kind of a powerful woman, right? She stood firmly in her sexuality. She didn't give a shit. She was a sovereign woman. And she was cast out for being sovereign. And that story, or that myth, story, whatever we want to call it, carries, the wounds of shame around the feminine, the divine feminine. And then Eve was created, the patriarchy was like, right, let's get rid of this Lilith woman. She's far too strong for us. And we're going to, create the story around Eve coming from, his rib cage, subservient, blah, 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 blah. Right. And that's the story that we mostly know of. Most people might not know of Lilith, who Lilith was, who she is, and why, she is here to support us to reclaim our power as women, to reclaim our divine feminine. So as I was looking at my placements, I was thinking, gosh, this is really interesting. Lilith in my 12th house. Yeah. Chiron, the great healer. And it showed me really that what I'm feeling really isn't irrational. It might feel irrational because I can't put logic to it. Logic is really a quality that is celebrated in society. So understanding that actually what I'm feeling is not irrational, but it is sacred and it's a memory. It is a memory and an echo of my past, my ancestors, and also of past lives as well, because I believe the 12th house also holds, our soul comes in with past life memory. I look at astrology as well as it's like a blueprint. Looking at it in a perspective of archetypes, it helps us to understand who we are at a soul level. So I sat with this new level of understanding. Whilst I've been looking at my birth chart for many years, But there's a layer every time we expand. It's like the breath, isn't it? The in-breath, the out-breath, an expansion and a contraction as we are expanding in consciousness. And this is a really critical time in humanity where consciousness over the next couple of years particularly is going to be accelerated. So rather than pushing through this resistance or collapsing into it, I decided I'm meeting it. We're going to meet here. And I took myself through my Merkaba method and a process that I've created for myself to move through it and to be with it and to alchemize this resistance. And I listened to the voices that say to me, you're too much. And I listened and I said, okay, thank you. And this voice has also been echoed in this lifetime as well. It's not just from the past, from my DNA. It has been echoed in this lifetime. So I'm also aware of that. But also the irrationality made me think there's more to it than this. And I just say, thank you. Thank you. You are protecting me, but I'm okay. I'm going to choose to speak. I'm going to choose to speak from this place of coherence, not in a performative way, but in a way that is really resonant to my own truth. So if you're feeling a similar resistance, and if this story has resonated with you, I just wanted to say, look, you're not broken. We don't need fixing. You are remembering something. You are remembering deep, or you are uncovering deep memories. And you are also very likely to be a voice for your lineage and a vessel for healing. So not just for yourself, but for those who came before you and for those who are coming after you. So, shame isn't a flaw. Shame is here to teach us and for us to really integrate and use as a portal, and use as something to help us up level. Not a huge fan of that word, but that sort of explains it really. And visibility isn't showing off. It isn't vanity, but it's a really sacred service. If you're here and you have this desire to support humanity and to be a service to humanity, and that's your mission, our mission is so important right now. And speaking our truth is medicine. It is medicine, and it's so needed right now. So think of it as, and this is how I'm thinking of it, is, our voice isn't just ours. We are speaking for those who were not able to speak, who are not able to speak now in this lifetime as well. There are so many people who aren't able to use their voices. Still so much persecution. So the invitation is for us to remember that our voice is not just ours. So thank you so much for witnessing me. And if this resonates with you, and if you feel that resistance when you try and share, shine, whatever it is, know that you are not alone. You are not alone. There are many of us. Just take a little step, take baby steps. Please feel free to share your reflections. I'd love to hear from you. Or if you don't feel called to share, that's absolutely okay. Just sit with this and sit with your breath. Thank you so much for being here and listening and witnessing me. From my heart to yours, so much love. Bye for now.